Spinology deals with every physical activity, simply because to perform any physical activity, you have to change your body chemistry. All levels of human performance are dependent upon changes in body chemistry, the production of chemicals. You've got to produce the right chemicals in the right amount at the right time, according to your need. Did you know that to wake up in the morning, you've got to make a chemical? That's right, and to fall asleep at night, you've got to make another chemical. All levels of human performance require changes in body chemistry. Now, you've all heard about this little gland. It's in your throat. It's called your thyroid gland. It makes a chemical. That chemical is called thyroxine. Thyroxine is responsible for all of your metabolism. If you produce just the right amount of thyroxine, you're doing okay. But if you produce too much, your metabolism goes up too fast, you begin to get thin, you lose weight, and your eyes bug out. But then if you don't produce enough, your hair gets brittle and you put on incredible amounts of weight. All levels of human performance depend on chemicals. Now there's two little glands. They sit just above your kidneys. They're called the adrenal glands. They produce a chemical, and that chemical is called adrenaline. And adrenaline is responsible for how hard and fast your heart beats. So if you've got to get up and run for a bus, adrenaline will be produced to allow your heart to pump enough blood to let that happen. There's another gland. It's called the pancreas. Now, the pancreas produces a very important chemical. That chemical is called insulin. Now, insulin regulates your blood sugar. Okay, if you don't have enough insulin, you'll get diabetes. And there's all kinds of problems that come from that. You can go blind, you can get heart problems, your legs maybe need to be amputated. It's not a good thing. But if you produce too much insulin, you get another condition called hypoglycemia. You're tired all the time, sluggish. So you just have to have the exact amount of this chemical, insulin, at the right time. All levels of human performance require changes and production of chemicals. Did you know that to absorb nutrients from food, you have to produce chemicals? And if you don't produce the right chemical, no matter how much money you spend on good food, no matter how many nutrients you take in, they won't be absorbed. This is a performance issue. So all levels of human performance, no matter what they are, whether they are fighting off a virus, one person gets on a bus, a person sneezes on them, they don't get sick. Another person gets on a bus and they just walk by the same person, and a day later they have the flu. This involves shifts in body chemistry. One person is able to make the appropriate chemicals to deal with the situation, and another person is not. All levels of human performance involve changes in body chemistry. Now, why is this important, and what does it have to do with spinology? Well, chemicals come from cells, and they come from glands. These are little chemical manufacturing plants. But left unto their own design, they don't know how much of their chemicals to produce, and they don't know when to do it. But what tells them when to do it is the nervous system. The nerve system is a better word for that. Now, you have a brain, and connected to that brain is a spinal cord. Now, most people think of the brain as a blob up in the head, but it's really not. It's more of a blob on a stick, the brain and the spinal cord. It's not two parts, it's all one unit. It's the master control tower for the entire body. And from that brain, outstretched nerves that reach every cell in the body. This master control center is extremely important. This master control center needs to be protected. And it is protected. It's protected by a solid vault of bone. Now up in the head you have the skull, and that protects the brain very nicely. But the lower part of the brain, the spinal cord, is protected too. It's protected by the spinal column. And if the whole thing was solid, everything would be perfectly protected and there wouldn't be a problem. However, because we need to bend and move and twist and lift and turn and create and function, the lower part of the protective vault is divided up into 24 movable segments, and these are the spinal bones. These are the vertebrae. And these vertebrae protect the lower part of the control center. However, they are able to move too. So there's a trade-off of protection for mobility. And in that trade-off, there is instability which can occur. And it does occur. And these bones in the spinal column, because there's 24 of them and they need to move, they need to protect, the spinal cord, they have a tendency to slip out of position. This is a fact. And when they do, they can put pressure on the very nerves they're designed to protect. So, you see, the brain monitors, and the spinal cord monitors all the functions in the body and takes in information. It makes a decision as to what to do, and it sends information back out to the cells. And remember that these cells are little chemical manufacturing plants. They control your heart, like the adrenal glands. They control your blood sugar, like the pancreas. They control your metabolism, like the thyroid gland. They control how you absorb nutrients from food. All of these things. How well you sleep, when you wake up. Now, if one of these small spinal bones slips, and they do, out of position, and they close down the holes where the nerves come out and go in, the result is that there's a lack of communication between the central control and the cells of the body. And when there is, the result is that the cells don't get the right information. And remember, the function of the cells is to produce chemicals, and that affects all of your human performance. So, the function of a spinologist is to apply gentle forces to the spine, where with our education we are able to know where the body may use the forces we put in to assist it in the correction of the pressure on the nerves. And the result of that is that the connection between the central control is restored and the cells. Body chemistry can reharmonize. You can absorb nutrients from your food properly. Your thyroid gland can function properly. Your immune system can function properly. Your heart can regulate properly. Your blood sugar can be regulated where it needs to be. This is Spinology.